Love and light, friends. Difficult to even begin today because I'm having that age-old struggle with language. It's so hard to put a lot of this into language. No matter what you're dealing with, you're pretty much damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because you're always going to have somebody that will agree and somebody that will disagree on anything. Even if you say love is the best thing a human can experience, inevitably there's going to be somebody out there that's going to want to take issue with that. But here's what I want to talk about is after you awaken, after a person awakens, you're coming out of a very deep fog, a very deep sleep, a very confused state of being, a very toxic existence. And so when you come out of that, you feel elated. You feel free. And I think some people have the tendency to get into that freedom and that elation and think, this is it. This is it. I made it. I am now free. And you are free. You're free in the sense that whatever bondage you didn't see before, whatever deception you didn't see before, you now see. So you are freed from its grasp. But this doesn't mean that that's it. That there's nothing left to do but sort of wait. Now I'm speaking to people that are desiring ascension, people that desire to go back toward source. And there is a method to this. This is not just now that you're free from your bondage, that's it, and you're going to ascend when you die, I suppose. Or that you're ascended even now in this elated, happy feeling. But the ways of the universe are set. And so there's much to do. Much to do. We're mind, body, spirit complexes. 3 main layers to the self. And purification, synchronicity, and balance is definitely a requirement for ascension. Anybody that thinks that they're going to ascend just because they feel free now and feel happy and think that that feeling is going to ascend them, they're wrong. Purification, balance, and synchronicity must be done. Otherwise, you would take your toxicity into the Garden of Eden. Well, that's why, part of the reason why we were expelled, if you will, from the Garden of Eden, because of our toxicity. Because of our divisiveness. Because of our habits, being prone to doing things that are contrary to oneness, to love, unity, and light. And the main place that we are out of balance, even after the awakening, is in diet. We have been systematically led down a path of completely toxic diets. You've heard it said that the pig is very close to being like a human. They can put various organs in pigs, take them from the pig, grow them in the pigs, and then take them and put them in humans. Skin grafts. Make sure my phone's not burning. So there's plenty of similarity between a pig and a human physiologically. And almost everybody in this reality is eating pig, is participating in a cannibalistic act. And see, if you can't even see that yet, maybe you still eat pig, and I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm simply looking at what is, the way that it is. And I'm having to reconcile these things within my own self. These animal farms, the way that these animals are treated is like completely like non-living property would be treated in order to gain the most monetary value. And so they can be pumped full of, you name it. They can be left in tiny cages so that they get fat, so that they can't exercise properly. Some places put tubes down the throats of various birds and continually pump some form of what they consider food into them so that they get extra fat, extra whatever. It's insane to think that we would disregard the sentient life that our Mother Earth has created and put here to be free, to live their life, to have their experience. And they are conscious because everything is conscious. Everything has consciousness. Are there different kinds of consciousness? That's a whole different topic. But just can you get to the place where you understand that everything here is conscious? And I think it's easy for us to all realize and see that living things, living sentient things, are conscious. And so it's conscious-less to participate in this cruelty to animals called farming, animal farming. Let's go back to just thinking nature, natural. If it was natural for you to eat a pig, then you would be able to just go out into nature, run a pig down with your own legs, grab it with your own hands, and just eat it, to begin to eat it. But you can't. You have to employ all these devices, if you will, to kill it from a distance with a gun, cut it up with various devices, cook it with fire, put various spices and herbs and what have you on it to change the flavor, to make it more palatable. Is that natural? Do you really consider that natural? Whereas if you went out and picked a peach off of a tree with your own hand, with your own legs, and you could bite into it right then and there and eat it right on the spot, well, that would be very natural, wouldn't it? Very different than eating a pig or any other animal. And so we're just talking about purification of the body. We are mind, body, spirit complexes. We have become toxic in all three of our wheels. I'm just considering each one a wheel. You could think of it as a torus field. All right, so do you really think you're going to ascend into the upper worlds with any one of your wheels out of order? With two of your wheels spinning one way and one of your wheels spinning the other way? Do you really think you're ready for the upper worlds if you still have not even reconciled within yourself what is natural and what is not natural, as far as what dense matter you shove into your mouth? So there's a lot of people kidding themselves to think that they're ready for ascension when you don't even have your wheels purified. You don't even have your wheels spinning in synchronicity. And so there is, I guess we could say, a danger to people awakening. The danger would be, again, going with that elated feeling and thinking that that elated feeling is equivalent to ascension. It's not. Thinking that now that you're free, there's no work to be done. It's foolishness. We are in time for a reason. Each incarnation has a time for a reason. And so it's not wrong to say you only have so much time in this incarnation to not only wake up. That's just the very first thing. The very first thing is you realizing that you were dead asleep, that you were completely duped, and that you need to awaken. And when you do awaken and you come into agreement with that, that's the very first thing. Now you have the whole process of integration and purification. And bringing all three wheels, the mind, body, and the spirit, into harmony, into balance, into purity, so that you are able to ascend. I mean, there's not much difference in the religious teaching that Jesus is coming back, and so all you got to do is just believe that. That's all you got to do. You can keep on eating that tainted meat. You can keep on destroying your vessel, destroying your temple, continuing in your lust, continuing in your pride, all the vices, right, that the flesh has. You can continue in those because all you got to do is just believe that when Jesus shows up, and since you're a believer, you're going. There's no difference in people in the Ascension movement, if you will, thinking that all I got to do is believe I believe that I'm going to ascend, and I'm going to. It's that same old pattern. That's a holdover pattern from the former self, the lower self. that will put you in a perpetual state of vacation and land you right back here in this dualistic realm to awaken and then do what's required. And I had somebody basically say that that's dogmatic. And it's not. It's not dogmatic. To align with the way that the universe works, to align with that which is, isn't dogmatic. It's the way it is. And yes, you can get this understanding from within. You can come to know the way it is and what is from within. But there is a vast difference between intellectualizing and being. You're not going to intellectualize your way into ascension. You have to become the way it is. That's what the Tao is about. Becoming one with the Tao. There is doing involved. There is discipline involved. There is purification involved. And it's not dogmatic. Because really, for one, you're not going around telling other people the way that it is. Unless you're a teacher. And this is the quagmire, I guess, of being a teacher, is that if you're going to share with others the way, then I guess you could be perceived as being dogmatic because you are speaking that which is. There could be parts of yourself that don't like what it hears. You may love bacon. Your flesh may love bacon. Your body may be even addicted to bacon. And so when you hear me say that it is completely unnatural to consume flesh, it would be easy for you to say, he's being dogmatic. See, he's being dogmatic, so he's not right. But really the truth is you are addicted to flesh, eating it. And you don't want to give it up. You don't want to let it go. And I have the same struggle. Everybody does. Everybody that was a meat eater. I was a huge meat eater. I've eaten meat recently. But every day, as I am working on self, this purification, I'm realizing more and more the way that it is. And it's not for me to even agree or disagree with it. Well, I guess it is, but it is what it is. That's what I'm getting at here. It is the way that it is. So you can either get with the way that it is, or you're not. You're either going to purify and balance and synchronize the three wheels of the mind, body, spirit complex, or you're not. To get two wheels going in the right direction and in synchronicity, and have your third wheel completely half flat, out of balance, full of toxicity is not going to get it. You will not ascend because you're not ready to ascend. That's the whole thing about ascension, is you ascend when you're ready. And when are you ready? When you have prepared yourself. When you have made yourself ready. And luckily, we have time, right? That's why we have time. That's what the time is for. From the time you incarnate until the time you depart, you have time. Time for what? Time to chase your egoic dreams. Time to build your temporal empire. No. You have time to purify, balance, and synchronize your mind-body-spirit complex. And you can begin at any time to do this. But you only have so much time, and you certainly shouldn't waste time. So sometimes it is best to keep to yourself, to stay silent, to keep this stuff within and just work on yourself. Because inevitably, if you start intermingling with other people, you're going to intermingle with their frequencies, and their frequencies could work to slow you down. Possibly, to hold you back. To keep you in that familiarity of the old, whatever it is. So it is easier and more advantageous to the self to meditate, man. I'm telling you, it's all in meditation. It really is. Silence, aloneness, nature, you in the prime frequency, and then you will see where you need to work. You'll see where you're lacking. You'll see where you are still impure. And it could be anything. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the taste buds. Preparing for ascension. It's not an intellectual activity only. I mean, that's one wheel, right? Mind. Mind, body, spirit. So purity of the mind is one of the wheels that has to be purified. The body is probably the hardest, the most toxic. But then we could say, well, everything your body does is directed from your mind. So maybe it's actually your mind that's the most toxic. And this is not easy in this reality, in this dualistic realm. This is not easy. Because we have learned so many wrong ways. All of our ways are wrong. We were taught from the external everything wrong, everything backwards, everything upside down. And now we're flipping the whole script. Virtually alone. Because there's not too many people that are with it. So that's it, friends, for this one. I urge you to meditate upon this, of what I've talked about here. Is it true that purification, balance, and synchronicity of all three wheels is a requirement of ascension? And it's not dogmatic, but it is just the way it is? Could this be true? And what does it mean for you? Do you have work to do? Is it time to end the vacation and get back to work? Or maybe get to work for the first time? Maybe it's all been vacation since you've dropped the heavy weight of oppression you were carrying. Just things to contemplate, my friends. And I do love you all in oneness, love, unity, and light. Until next time.